You can ask me, Kingsley. Kingsley, you can ask the question.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know I was still on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, you can ask me you can ask the question.
Yeah, I'm asking now, yeah.
Please.
So I'm talking about the form editor from this site
Form
creation.
editor. 1 minute. Let me open. Form editor. Yes.
Yeah. So the information in this form editor is it different from the information when you're creating that new map?
Because because if you want to create form editors and all everything, Power Apps is required. Without Power Apps, we can't create forms.
Yeah, I understand.
If you want to write any business rules and all everything, you require Power Apps for that.
Yeah, I understand. So right? My question is, you know, if you're creating a new site, you have to fill. It is compulsory for you to fill the form editor as part of new site creation, right?
Once the site creation is done, then we go for form editor. Yes.
Okay.
We have to create, first of all, sites. Okay. Site has to be created. Okay.
Okay.
1 minute. Yeah. So first of all, what we have to do is that, first of all, we have to create a site. Okay. For example, this is the site we have created. Okay. We have updated. Now what we have to do, then we have to go for form editor. So whenever you are clicking on form editor, this will open. This Power Apps will open.
I will open in Power Apps. Yeah.
Power App, because Power Apps is interconnected to Microsoft Dynamics. Because Microsoft Dynamics and Power Apps are interconnected. Because it's not like Power BI. Because Power BI is different. Power BI, you have to take a authorization and permission, and you need to integrate Power BI to the existing application. But whereas when it comes to Power Apps, it's not that. In Power Apps, you have an advantage where it has already connecting with the Dynamics itself. So whenever you are clicking on this, whenever you are clicking on the form editor, automatically this Power Apps, this site will be opened, right? So this Power Apps will be opened. Here for that particular site, whatever we have created, because if you remember, if you can see here, so I have selected this. This is what generally the site I have selected. And whatever the form editors I am doing and all everything is relating to that particular one. So for that, what I am doing, I am creating a business rule by applying security, and so that this security, applying security, whatever the process and all everything, is a new business rule we have created. So that can be transferred as a documentation if it is required. Okay, subject to condition, right? So if it is really needed, we will be updated as a documentation, because end of the day, being a BA, we have to prepare some documentation that is required. So whenever we want to prepare any kind of documentation and all, if this is required, so we can upload this as a screen and we can update these records. That we can do it. So Power Apps will be automatic. Power Apps will be automatic. It will come automatic. Right? Power Apps will be the automatic one. You don't need to integrate Power Apps as separate. Whenever there is this Dynamics 365 we have taken, whenever we have opened that trial version of it, automatically Power Apps will also be, Power Apps is also an inbuilt one. It's an inbuilt one. So simply you can use it. That we can do.
Okay.
Clear to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where generally this power apps and all everything is what generally we are creating, right? So this is what it is. No. So this is where generally these business rules, all these we can create. Right? So this is where generally site creations were. After site creation, this is about currencies, because of course this is of currency. This is not needed for us, right? So we can skip, because currency updations and all. If whichever the site we are updating, based on that, this currency you can see here, right? So exchange rates, all that stuff, right? So you can, if you want, you can update a new currency type or something like. So currency code we have to select. So if we want, we have to select the currency code, all that, right? So if you want, we can select the currency code. For example, Canadian dollar, right? So for example, if you want to add any currency, dollar, Canadian dollar, all that stuff, this we can. Yeah. Right. So for example, right. So when you want $1, right? So one rupee equal to Canadian dollar and all. So if you want to add anything of that, we can add it. Right. So this is not relevant, right? So currencies is not for you being a BA, it is not required. Hence, I'm not going more to that. Okay. Next is about, this is automatic record creation and updating rules, because whatever we have created earlier in sites is about the business rules. Here, if you want to do any kind of auto recording option and all everything, so here we have to update the rules, whatever the rules we have and all everything. So those rules has to be updated. Means if there are any rules which was already predefined and all, those rules can be updated here, right? So active creation of rules and all everything is what we have to create. So here, if you want to create any kind of rules here, effective when written, the automatic record creation rules are deprecated in web client. It is required to migrate your ARC rules web client to the new unified interfaces. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. So yeah. Next is about goal metrics, right? So this is where generally, so goal metrics we have to. So if you want to, yeah, so we have to see, for example, this sales application, right? This is a sales application. Whenever we are working on the sales application, being a team, I'm saying, okay, not in context to the BA, because always not by the BA, because being a team, I can say, being a team, we want to know about the kind of goals, whatever it was relating to the sales part, all that stuff, right? So if there is any kind of charts or something to be prepared, right? So if there is any kind of metrics to be prepared to the existing fields, whatever we have created, right? So created on at the same time, whatever the conditions to be required to apply and all everything. So that, let me cancel it. Yeah. So if you want to create any kind of metrics, right? So if you want to create, because you know about metrics is the one which will be used to know about the progress of work, whatever the progress of work we are doing. So if you want to know about the progress of work, generally metrics is required for that reason. So whenever we are creating metrics and all, there are already metrics which were already created earlier. So number of production units and all everything, there are existing metrics we have, which was already active metrics were created, right? So amount type, right? So everything was updated already, right? So updated already. Wherein if there is any kind of description to be written, right? For example, for the particular one, any kind of description to be written for the existing ones, we can write down the description here. Followed by this, if you want to see any kind of background process information, right? If there is any process information which is associated for the particular active metrics, I'm talking about product units I'm talking about. any background information if you want to view or to perform all that stuff. So here we have to we can see the data, right? So if you have any data relating to the number of product units, for example, customer has given some product units information to us. So whatever the information, product units information being given by the customer, wherein whenever we are upgrading, because database team, usually database team has to upgrade the data, right? So because they have to update if there is any production units information or something, any data will be given and all data sets will be given. Data team has to be updated. So whenever data team has updated and all, if we want to see the background process, whatever is happened and all, so there generally this background process and all everything is being used. Otherwise, if there is any option where if we want to create any kind of new metrics as separate, because these are the three matrices which are already there. If there is any kind of new metrics to be prepared, or else, for example, maybe something relating to the report or something, right? For example, right? So any kind of report to be saved, right? If you want to create any kind of reports and all everything. Yeah. Right. So if you want to create any kind of reports, anything, right? So this is where generally active metrics called report, which was already created. Right. So report is what we have created. Now we can update. Right. So now we can update whatever the role of fields we have, or else if there is any description to write. Right. So for example, reports generation. Is required for us to know about. Reports generation is required for us to know about the progress of the, for example, it's a sales information. Okay, for example, right? For example, progress of the sales information for a particular period. For example, for a particular period, right? So this is what it is. So for a particular period, report generations is what we have to know. So there generally this description in reference to the reports and all everything is what we have to write. If there is any kind of audit history, right? So for the particular activity, whatever we are maintaining and all everything. So if you want to see any kind of audit history, right? Any audit history has been maintained by the team and all everything, that data we can see. So that data we can see, which is maybe relating to the opportunities, whatever we have created and all everything. So lead qualification, for example, if you want to update the records in lead qualifications and all, if you want to enable to upgrade the existing qualifications and all, we can always, we have to enable this, because disabling this, what will happen? Auto creation records won't be updated, because these are the backend settings. That's what I say, because these settings are important. So because all these settings we have to do, unless until if you don't do the settings, because for example, if you have disabled the lead qualification and all, because any auto creation of records maintained by the team, so that won't be updated in regular intervals. So always we have to enable the option of lead qualification here. At the same time, if there is any kind of opportunity closing by preparing customer fields and all everything, if you want to update, right? So any opportunity closing and all everything. So opportunity closing can also be updated, right? So setting was done up successfully. So that if there is any closure opportunities which was created by the development team on a front end basis, I'm saying, not on the back end. On the front end, any updations has done by the team in regular intervals and all everything. So that whenever there is a closure of an opportunity which was already completed by the development team in terms of the fields what they have prepared for their custom fields and all, everything was prepared. Automatically, once that completion is done, right? So once that form is completed, automatically that opportunity closure will happen. So because every time doing manually, all these is not something feasible for us to do, because manual operations in applications are not possible, because there will be lot of data, because whatever we take in training will be a sample data, but in real world we have lot of 100 data will be in very huge number. So when there is a huge number of data is available, so whatever the records we want to maintain, whatever the updations to be done and all, everything can't be done manually. So that these settings and these corrections and all, everything is what we have to do. So then automatically creation of fields or records creation can be done. At the same time, if you want to update any kind of opportunity closings, but make sure there is a rule we have to update where rule make sure that opportunity of the custom form fields and all, everything has to be completed. Then only that opportunity closing will be come into existence. So this is where generally this opportunity closures and all, everything is what generally we have to update over here. So that is something one we have to do, right? So lead plus opportunity statement is what we have to see. Understood? Clear?
Yeah.
Kingsley, right? So this is where generally this active metrics and all, everything is what we have to create. Now this Excel template, for example, if you want to create any kind of template, or if you want to update in a Word format or something of that sort, if you want to download this file, we can download, and all these records we can maintain as separate. If we want, we can maintain these records. These records we can maintain. If you want, you can maintain these records and we can update it, and we can save this for further references. Usually, if there is anything of that required of that sort, generally that templates, either you can convert into Excel or you can convert into what we call we can convert into Word file also, right? So either way you can do it, right? So that we can do it. So that is where generally this active metrics and all everything all we can see, because whatever the active metrics, if you want to see any inactive metrics and all, you can see here. But whenever metrics are the one which are used, majorly used for the activity purpose itself, so that we will be knowing about the progress, etc., etc. So always we have to choose active metrics and all, and if there is any additions to be made and all, we have to go for new, and we need to update when and wherever it is needed. So these updations has to be done by us in regular intervals. This is must be a continuous process which we have to be updated on requirement basis and all, everything. These updations can be done by the team all the time. Understood? Clear?
Yeah.
Kingsley. So this is about the goal metrics part, right? So goal metrics part is what it was. Next, followed by this, there are some facility equipments, all this you want to add. If you want to add any kind of facilities or something, if you want to add these facilities and equipments and all, everything were there, that I'm going to discuss about these facility groups, resource groups. And if you want to add any kind of new services, all that in tomorrow's session. Clear?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So my question is not about this. I'm trying to understand
please
some things.
Please.
So from a business perspective, I'm just wondering why a company will need somebody to develop Dynamics 365, because it's a cloud application, isn't it? So why would they need external company to develop the application for them?
Because company have lot of pipelines. See, for example, you take any organization have a lot of departments and divisions, isn't it? Right? So when there are any departments and divisions for any of the organization, we have to know about the performance of each and every department. Okay, first point. Second, any business, customer satisfaction is the ultimate motto, prime motto, right? That is required. So as long as we are managing the customers, as long as we are managing whichever the customers may be, because depends on the type of the organization it belongs to, customers may vary. But end of the day, customer readdressal system must be so accurate for any organization to have a better quality business in coming years. So for that, what is required? They require some CRM application. It need not be a Dynamics. Either it could be anything XYZ, whatever it is. Some kind of CRM application which is required to maintain their customer data and as well as customer readdressal system very fast. Because we cannot rely on human intervention all the time. Because human intervention, even though it is there, we have to rely upon 365-day services. For example, Microsoft Dynamics 365, if you have taken, the advantage is that whatever the services relating to organization, either it could be a cloud, either it could be relating to e-commerce, it could be relating to marketing, it could be relating to healthcare, it could be relating to retail or supply chain. All the CRM services and all everything can be given in a single repository. That's the reason why Dynamics 365 means if you're asking a question, why Dynamics 365 people are using is means if that was your question, let me understood.
Okay.
I'll complete it. Okay. I'll tell you. For example, why people are using 365 Dynamics 365 because of this reason, because we have all the domains, whatever the domains like sales, e-commerce, everything will be available in Dynamics 365. This is one answer. The first answer is that, for example, why CRM application required for any organization? Because customer readdressal system must be so accurate so that they can improve the quality of the performance of the business activities, what they are performing. So for that reason, CRM application and CRM process is required. Either it could be Dynamics or it could be of anything. Understood? Customer readdressal system is the prime mode. You can go ahead now, please.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I understand that better, but my question is, this CRM, this Dynamics is a cloud application, right? So if an organization needs it, all they need to do is pay for the subscription and start using it. So why do they need maybe another company to develop it for them or to do the configuration? Because I'm trying to visualize where our services come into play. So for instance, that if I'm working in an organization and we need Dynamics 365, we just buy the license and we can subscribe and have access to it. So why would they pay another company to develop it for them? Or what is that company doing for them in Dynamics that they cannot do on their own? I don't know if you understand my question.
See, first of all, for example, any organization to manage, if they want a CRM, because CRM and ERP, all these applications are big level applications, very huge applications. Developing according to our requirement for any organization is an expensive affair. Understood, right? Developing by an organization for their own will be an expensive affair. But in Dynamics 365 or else it could be a Salesforce CRM, whatever it is, the advantage is, as it is a cloud application, you don't need to maintain any infrastructure as separate. Otherwise, what will happen, for example, if you want to use any application, you have to install in the client systems, you have to do the database driver connectivity, everything has to be done. So that sort of difficulties you don't see whenever you are working on whenever you are working on the cloud applications. Because cloud applications, the advantage of cloud application, using cloud application for the organization is infrastructure free, because there is no specific infrastructure they have to maintain for the applications to manage. This is all something pay per use kind of. Whatever the services you are using, you are paying only for that. You are not unnecessarily paying for all the services. For example, I'm using Sales Cloud. Okay, Sales CRM I'm using. So whatever that I'm going to pay from the organization point of view is only a sales CRM, right? So I am not paying for marketing or for any other cloud CRM related things. I am not paying. Infrastructure will be zero, and it is easy to maintain because cloud service providers, whoever is managing this, because this Microsoft Dynamics, this Dynamics 365 is a Microsoft company. Microsoft, as it's a big organization, they have their own cloud data centers. They will maintain all the infrastructures. So customers need not manage all that infrastructure, which will be very expensive and as well as complicated. In spite of using this cloud application or something, if you want an organization want to develop a CRM application on their own, it will be very expensive, because there are a lot of modules, lot of functionalities and all, and it takes a lot of time for organizations. In spite of it, what we can do, simply whichever the application is viable financially to us, we can buy the licenses of that particular cloud version of CRM. And if there is any customization, they will do. The organization to organization advantage is they need customization if they want. For example, they want Dynamics with Power BI combination, for example, right? Any organization wants some Power BI combination. So they can connect this Microsoft 365 with Power BI combination, they can integrate and they can give it. So that customizations can be done. So these are the advantages why most people are using this cloud applications and all everything because of that. Otherwise, if you want you to develop for only for your organization, the cost will also be high. Infrastructure cost, again, you need to manage licenses and all. Again, you have to pay license fees, all that stuff. So this is all something burden for any organization, because if it is a big level organization, then it's a different story. But even small organization and mid-level organization will also be there. So that's the reason why most of the people are moving towards cloud. And advantage in cloud, as I mentioned you, whatever you are using, you are only paying for that. You are not paying for any other things else apart. So that is one of the biggest advantage you can see in cloud applications. That's the reason why most of the people were moving towards that direction.
Yeah, I maybe you still don't understand my question, but I understand everything you're saying. So I will rephrase it for the last time. So what I'm trying to get at is this. Yeah, for instance, now you explained to me that I understand that you pay for what you need. Is the cloud managed infrastructure. I know how service, how cloud application works. So now, for instance, an organization, they need Microsoft 365 services and they subscribe to the cloud. They only needed the sales module and they buy the sales module, right? And then, once they buy this sales module, why would they need a business analyst? So for instance, they buy this sales module, let's say organization A.
Okay, so why business analyst required once they bought the product, right? That's what your question.
Not that only. So that's part of the question.
Please continue.
Yeah, so they require organization A can buy Microsoft Dynamics from the cloud from Microsoft, right? And now, why do they need organization B and the business analyst from organization B to work on Dynamics 365? Because they have already bought it from the cloud. It's a cloud application. Yeah. So
okay, carry on.
Yeah. So why do they need that service? What is organization B doing for organization A with respect to Dynamics 365?
Okay.
They cannot. Yeah.
Okay. Your question is over?
Yeah, that's all.
See, first of all, I understand what you're asking, but still anyway, that question I'll repeat you, either yes or no, you tell me. So what is that you are saying? You are asking is that as an organization is buying a CRM cloud application from outside, then why do they require business analyst as separate? Right? This is your question, right? Yes. Here the answer is, even though you have bought in cloud application of Dynamics from the customer, for example, you have bought this product, your organization has bought this, some Axis an organization has bought Dynamics from Microsoft, for example. Whenever they are working on the application, there are some configurations has to be made. There are some small changes to be made to the existing application. Because as I told you, sometime back I have told you, organization to organization, small configurations, or if there is any kind of fields related settings and all, everything has to be identified and has to be updated. Who will be updating all this? Technical team has to do that. If technical team wants to do that, what is that they require? They require a business analyst who understand the business rules of the organization. Is it whatever the Dynamics, for example, if it's a Dynamics 365, is it something relevant, or do you want to update or any data and all everything into the existing stuff or not? So this has to be managed by someone in the organization. For that reason, we require a BA. Understand?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, understood now. So I can say as a business analyst for company B, I am implementing Microsoft Dynamics for company A as a project. I can say that, right?
So what you can say, being a BA, you can say is that being a business analyst, my organization is using Dynamics 365. Okay. Whatever the future, whatever the regular business process we are maintaining, if there is any kind of business rule changes happens in my organization, based on that, this application has to be adjusted. Okay. Based on this, the application has to be adjusted. For that, being a BA, I am working. This is point number one. Point number two is that whenever my development team is working on 365, there are some configurations or there are some rules and all everything has to be updated, or there are some custom filters or workflows and all everything has to be created in back of it. Because developers work on the front end, right? Back end, the database management. Database management means not configurations, all that. Maybe filters or workflows and all. Someone has to do it. Who will be doing it? So that will be done by the business analyst. Why business analysts do? Because the business requirements, detailed business requirements will be known to the business analyst itself. That's the reason why whatever the necessary settings, that's the reason if you remember, for example, I'm talking about currencies. What I told you, currencies are not relevant, right? That's what I said. So whatever is relevant, whatever is required for us to make some changes and all, being a BA, we do it. Otherwise, remaining things, we are not relevant here. So in this grounds, generally being a BA, it will be required for you. Whenever you are working, if someone is asking you why your organization is doing, what is that being a BA you have to do, you have to tell these two answers. Understood? Clear?
Yeah, that's fine.
Understood. Anyway, I'll explain you. I will tell you what is that you have to tell when someone is asking you what is that you did, right? So why and all. If there is anything, I will give you the answer, question and answer kind of Q&A kind of stuff. I'll give you in a document so that you can read it, so that you'll have more idea. Because if someone is asking any question, so that it is easy for you to answer. Because these are the real time. Maybe sometimes people ask where you must be ready to answer it.
That's true. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, makes sense.
Right, Kingsley? We discuss about these facilities and all everything tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
All right, see you tomorrow.